If you win the morning, you win the day, and then if you win the day, you win the week, and so forth. Once you win the week, you win the month. You win the month, and then you win the whole year. Your morning determines your day. If you can wake up and avoid your phone, stop doom scrolling and frying your brain to the core, scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, and all the social media, and you actually stop consuming right after you have waken up, and you wake up, you get the right things done. You clean your room, you stretch, you meditate, or you journal, you just accomplish something. Then you are setting a tone for the rest of the day. Today, I woke up, I decided to clean my room, make sure that the space that I'm working in and the space that I spend most of my time is very clean. A clean space creates a clear mind. When you wake up and you start doom scrolling on your phone, you start checking text messages, you get on TikTok, you'll find yourself spending approximately more than 2 hours just chasing deep dopamine, which will eventually get you nowhere. The habits that actually set the tone. You wake up, you can read a book, or you can journal, stretch, or wake up and do a few push-ups, get the body moving, get outside, get some sun, get some fresh air, alert your mind and your body that you are ready for the day. I bet that you keep asking yourself, how do you get rich? But do you ever ask yourself, how do you stay poor? How do you stay poor is a question that not so many people ask themselves. I woke up today and I asked myself, what is the difference between the rich people, people who get anything that they want and keep getting more, and the poor people, people who can barely make it through the day? You have to understand that poor and wealth are first created in the mind before they reach the wallet or your pocket. Poor people tend to stay the same and hardly change. Poor people, they stay poor because they don't change. They perceive change as a threat. I made a whole video where I explain why is it that when you try to attain a new goal that is outside of your current being is perceived as a threat. Poor people, they stay poor because they don't want to change. They stay the same and they expect everything to change. They repeat the same thoughts, they repeat the same habits, they hang out with people who are just like them. That is the first reason why poor people stay poor. It's because they don't change, they remain the same. The second reason why people stay poor is because of inconsistency. Inconsistency is what I call the failure mechanism. The only time you will fail is if you become inconsistent. You don't fail, you stop trying, you stop executing, you stop moving forward, you stop moving towards your goal. That's the only time that you fail. If you keep going, then you are just learning. You are not losing. Poor people, what they do is they stop moving towards the goal. They put in some work for the first few months and they see zero results, and then they stop moving towards the goal. Whereas success, on the other hand, is a consistent action towards a targeted outcome over a period of time. The third reason why poor people stay poor is because of a disease that was popularized by David J. Schwartz, who wrote a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. The name of the disease is excusitis. The word is self-explanatory. Excusitis is a disease where people provide excuses for either why they are not going for whatever it is that they want, or why their results are very poor. Now, you get different type of excuses. You get the health excuses, the excuses that are tied to health. You get the excuses that are tied to intelligence. When you make excuses, most poor people, when they come up with these excuses, in the beginning, they know whatever it is that they are telling themselves is likely a lie until they repeat it and it eventually becomes true. This is why you get people who go to the hospital claiming that they have a kidney problem, only to find out that four doctors confidently told them that they are okay. But the fact that they keep repeating to themselves that they have a kidney failure, then eventually that becomes true. Not from the lens of your kidney failing, but it will reduce the intensity and the consistency that you need to move towards your goal. People who have health excuses are the reason why they stay poor. And then you get those who have intelligent excuses where they'll tell you, I'm not smart enough. You know, one thing about people who have excuses, they have a reason behind every failure. And you need to understand that I always tell this to my friends and people that I meet that everything is aligned, everything makes sense. If you ask a poor person why they are poor, they will give you very valid reasons. Their health, they're not smart enough, they don't have innate talent, the government is not looking after them. All those reasons are valid for them. Once they start explaining why they are poor, is the moment you start understanding why it is that they are poor. On the other hand, when you ask a rich individual, why do they have good relationships? Why is their wallet always expanding? And then they start explaining themselves and they tell you that I don't have time for small talks. I hardly consume and I mostly produce. I read books, I work out, I track my finances, and then you will understand why it is that these people, they are wealthy or they are rich. Poor people, all they do is have excuses. That's all they do. The fourth reason why poor people stay poor is because they procrastinate. Procrastination is the death of achievement. It hinders achievement in a very miraculous way. Once you start procrastinating, what happens is you increase the uncertainty of the achievement of this goal. And then once uncertainty arises, you start feeling fear, or you start experiencing fear, and you start feeling doubt. When these two emotions are present, it's very hard for an individual to carry on with the goal that they want to achieve. To stop procrastinating, what I do is before I go to sleep, I write down what I need to do the next day in detail with time stamps. When I wake up, I want to wake up at this time, I'll be doing this. At this time, I'll be doing that at this time. Writing down what to do and actually following up with your schedule, it even reduces what we call brain fatigue. The reason why people procrastinate is because they don't know what to do. They wake up in the morning and then they use all their energy deciding what to do or thinking of what to do during the day. But when you go to sleep and you write down what you need to do the following day, you go to sleep with your list installed in your subconscious mind, and then when you wake up with that bang, knowing that okay, this is what I need to do, this is what needs to be done. And then when you don't have a list, when you don't have plans, what will happen is external factors, your friends, your family will come up with plans for you. And since you have nothing to do, it's going to be hard for you to say no. When you want to achieve a goal, you must say more no's than you say yeses. Saying no to your friends and your family is saying yes to your duties and your priorities. Now, if you don't know what to do, other people will give you tasks to do. It's that simple. Instead of asking yourself how to become rich, ask yourself how to stay poor, and then avoid all it is that keeps people poor, and then eventually you will become rich by default.